This is what happened in Abuja some few days ago. Let's listen. That is how the government.
Mo kí yín ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ pẹ́ fanta ẹ wò ẹ wá nǹkan kan fìdílé kí ni president America wá ṣe ní Abuja nílùú Nàìjíríà kí ni tán wá ṣe irú meeting wo náà wá ṣe ní Nàìjíríà ẹ wò ẹ̀yin ẹ wá nǹkan kan fìdílé kẹ́ wo fídíò tó fẹ́ play fún yín yìí tí Koiki sọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ nínú ẹ̀kẹ́dẹ̀ wo fídíò yẹn ẹ má gbàgbé láti comment tẹ́ bá rí so sí.
They're worried that the Yoruba people are now crying out that they will leave Nigeria whether by peace or by whatever means. If peace does not work, then whatever means that will allow us to be free from the bondage to retain back our true identity would have no other choice than to do so. My name is Olayomi Koiki. As we continue to educate you and give you all the reason why Nigeria must now break up. American ambassador, governor, sí Abuja. Imagine an ambassador calling our governors and say, come, Emabo. Òun ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń fẹ́ bá yín sọ. Kí ni nǹkan tó sọ? Kí ni ìwúlò nǹkan tó sọ? Kí ni àǹfààní nǹkan tó sọ? This is what happened in Abuja some few days ago. Let's listen. That is how the governors were all walking in as if the student is being called by their principal. Nigeria is no longer working, and it is time that the America, the European allow Nigeria to dissolve before Nigeria goes into chaos. They were all going in one at a time. The white man has called the black people to sit and continue to fool us as they've done, as America continue to fund the Boko Haram. Àwọn gómìnà ló wọlé lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ní méjì láti ilẹ̀ Haúsá, ilẹ̀ Ìgbò, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà tí ambassador Amẹ́ríkà tó pè wọ́n èyí tó rẹpísẹ́ǹtì wọn Amẹ́ríkà nílùú Nàìjíríà. Arákùnrin tó ń pè ní Richard Mills, the United States ambassador to Nigeria, has also dismissed allegation that U.S. agency for international development, something the USAID, fund Boko Haram or other terrorist organizations. Inú pàdé náà lọ́wọ́ àìtẹ́ ń wò yìí. Àwọn gọ́vùnà wa lọ́rẹ́ ní gúúsùgúúsù nígbà tí ọmọ skul kó lọ sí skul tí principal fi bá sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ wo bí ayé wa ṣe ta sínú Nàìjíríà. Ẹja gbọ́n kan tó fi sọ.
Useful and productive meeting with the governors here at the Governors Forum. I outlined my vision for where the U.S.-Nigerian relationship is headed.
Let me quickly analyze that. The U.S.-Nigeria relationship is no longer going to work. It needs to now dissolve. There can be a Biafra-U.S. relation. There can be Hausa-U.S. relation. There can be Middle Belt U.S. relation, and there can be Yoruba-U.S. relation. But the relationship between Nigeria and the U.S. must now stop because it is no longer working for the indigenous people. America representatives were on seat when MK Abiola died. Condoleezza Rice, as we know, was the U.S. secretary when the late MK Abiola was killed. And we know what happened after that. We know how many things we have heard. The tea, the cup of tea, and this, hate him or like him. And I'm just reminding you Yoruba people that we have enemies within and enemy outside. According to Femi Kayode, on the June 9, 2013, MK Abiola, Susan Rice, and a deadly cup of tea. Now we have known how MK Abiola died. I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's hear more. As the U.S. ambassador is now also denying that there was no evidence that the USAID was funding Boko Haram, even though their senator said so, that the evidence is clear. It is time that we tell the international community that we are tired and we have had enough of the contraction called Nigeria and the indigenous people needs to retain their right to self-determination peacefully and non-violent. But if care is not taken and they do not accept such, then Yugoslavia situation will be worse than Nigeria. And I hope some of you understand what happened during the Yugoslavia. Blood stream, yet many countries pull out of Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia eventually became a breakup. And that breakup brought out many other beautiful countries out of that crazy country that was called Yugoslavia. The same thing is going to happen in Nigeria. Because whether you like it or not, the sooner you accept and believe it, or before it goes into something else, Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. The breakup of Yugoslavia began in 1980 and ended in 2006. The Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia dissolved into several independent countries. Nigeria would also dissolve into many nations. And the end is getting closer for those of you that still do not accept. But Babangida is telling us that we should forgive him. Yet, the American government is calling the US ambassador in Nigeria to go speak to all the 36 states. Who the hell is America to be calling those governors? Can President Bola Tinubu call all the governors in America to a conference in America? Mo fi bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀. Ṣé President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ó lè lo the US ambassador in America and call all the governors in America and bring them on the round table and be having discussion? This is what will not be tolerated in a Yoruba country. They know that already. If the puppet governors cannot understand that, it is time that you, as a Yoruba man, understand that your enemies is within and outside. Let's hear more from the US ambassador to Nigeria. Tó pe àwọn ọmọ school, bóyá ó fẹ́ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀. And this was the outcome of the meeting yesterday. I don't know whether it was yesterday, but this is what I picked up from the channel's television.
Here and under a new administration, I explained to them we're going to be focusing on 4 key priorities over the coming years. The first is how to improve the business environment.
Who is the business environment has helped between Nigeria and America in the last 64 years? Ta ló benefit? Ṣé wọ́n benefit? Since the relationship between Nigeria and America, the relationship between European and Nigeria, UK and Nigeria, have you ever benefited any jack shit from America? Kí ló benefit? Rather than benefit inside Nigeria, we all jack back to America for a better and a greener pasture. Because those relationships only favor those that will favor the 1% within Nigeria. Who is stupid? You can see why it is important that they don't want Yoruba people to have their own country. They know that tabagba country, things will not be the same. We will dictate. We would have good communication. We will have good relationship. The business between Yoruba country and America must reflect on the citizen, not just the minority within Nigeria as it stands right now. So ìwọ tí à ń sọ fún pé Yorùbá country lọ́nà àbáyọ, America náà ti mú nǹkan mẹ́rin wá fún Nàìjíríà. Ó wá pass message yẹn fáwọn governor kó lọ kó fún gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó ń pera wọn ní Nàìjíríà, dumb bastard. This again is how the US ambassador tó pè rẹ̀ ní Richard Mills, the United States to Nigeria, Richard Mills, also dismissed allegation that the United States Agency for International Development, known as the USAID, fund Boko Haram or other terrorist organizations. Mills, who met with the members of the Nigerian Governors Forum in Abuja on Wednesday night, alẹ́ ni wọ́n ṣèpàdé, alẹ́ ló ń ṣèpàdé òru, ìpàdé kọ̀kọ̀, ìpàdé tó fi destroy ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, òru ló ń ṣe. While you are sleeping, Nigeria continue to be planned in the middle of the night. In the night when most Nigerians do not have electricity to know what is happening within their surroundings. Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And it is important that Tinubu understand this, that Yugoslavia was powerful. But the breakup of Yugoslavia did happen. The split happened. And there are various reasons for the country's breakup, ranging from cultural, religious division between ethnic groups making up the nation to the memories of World War II atrocity committed by all sides, just like the committed atrocity by Gowon, killing 5 million Biafra, the deadliest war, the deadliest genocide. Gowon is still alive, and yet nothing has been done. Gowon was 32 years old when he was the head of state. He is now in his 80s, and yet they are still telling us what to do. Ó jẹ́ kí orí wa pé and know what to do because we all adults. Gowon cannot still dictate to us, but we have given them the room to dictate. When the rally is called, don't come out. Most of you will suffer the injustice for a very long time. Tọ́ba ti ní ká jáde kó má jáde, you will be the one to suffer because some of us might just abandon you for you to suffer with those elements of criminals. But we don't want to abandon anybody. That is why we are preparing our mind. And we are preparing our mind to understand that nobody will free you, not even America, not even Great Britain. Let's hear more. But who and who understand that many countries eventually pull out of Yugoslavia? 7 countries will come out of Nigeria, if not more. But the Yoruba people that are 60 million have the right. Armenia is 3 million in population and is a country. Yoruba are 60 million and we don't need Nigeria because Nigeria is no longer valuable working for we, the Yoruba indigenous people. Croatia, Montenegro, Serbia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Macedonia. These are countries that pulled out from Yugoslavia in 2006. Yele Yoruba ma pull out. The declaration of Yoruba people will happen, and it must happen very, very fast so that we can defend our territory with our blood and protect us from the invaders within the Yoruba territory. And many Yoruba people that have compromised because they wanted to live a better life, given oil block by Babangida. Most of them are all in that room when Babangida was launching his fake book after they killed MK Abiola. Let's hear more from these representatives of America. What today? Coming in and out, vehicle to come and tell us that Nigeria will be a better place. Knowing fully well that Nigeria can never be a better place as David Lammy continued to tell lies. By 2075, Nigeria will be a top 5 economy in the world. Irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀, kò sí òtítọ́ ẹyọ kan nínú ẹ̀. Tó bá dúró de gbogbo táwọn òyìnbó bá sọ fún ẹ, ikú ti pa ẹ́, bó ṣe pa MK Abiola. Because àwọn òyìnbó assure MK Abiola. I remember when MK Abiola was picked up from his residence in Ikeja, he was speaking to BBC. The same people that are British Bias Corporation, eventually MK got killed while Condoleezza Rice brought whatever she bought. But we know that the last thing MK Abiola had was a tea, and he died. He never made it out. Babangida is not telling Nigerians to forgive and forget and accept the fate that Abiola sacrificed himself, and yet is happy that Buhari, another Fulani man, has now made Abiola a president that was never meant to be. How do you feel as a Yoruba man? Ó jẹ́ ká wà lójú títì látànà, ẹ̀rí pé gbogbo wa tún lọ sùn. Àbí? Ó jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa ti bọ́ sójú títì látànà to demand that MK Abiola's death must not go in vain. But nobody wants to go out anymore. They are now waiting for Igboho, the one that will come and liberate us. Because all those that should liberate us have all been either killed, chased out of Nigeria, or given one kind of inducement within Nigeria. Ẹni tó gba oil block, ó ti gba minister. Ẹni tó gba minister, ó ti gba governor. Ẹni tó gba governor, ó ti gba house of rep. Kódà ẹni tó gba house of rep, ó ní kọ́kọ́ fóun ní ojú títì Lagos State kó máa gbá. So nobody wants to come out and fight anymore. You can see the division within Nigeria today. The way tí wọ́n announce pé àwọn làwọn pa Abiola, that the election was annulled in 1993. Ó yẹ ká tún jáde padà ni. Ó yẹ ká wà lójú títì ká máa demand for, we do not want to be part of this country anymore. But wọ́n ti fáwọn kan ní National Road Transportation Union president. Wọ́n ti fáwọn kan ní different, depending on your grade, they know that the Yoruba people love money so much. So tó bá ti fún wọn lówó, wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀, ọ̀dà ò sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́, ọba ò sọ̀rọ̀, baálé ò sọ̀rọ̀, ìjòyè ò sọ̀rọ̀. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́?
So there's more trade between the United States and Nigeria?
All the trade, I'm asking you, Mr. Ambassador, all the trade that has occurred within Nigeria in the last 64 years between America and Nigeria, who has benefited it? Ta ló jàǹfààní ẹ̀? Who benefited from all this trade? Okòwò tẹ́lẹ̀ ń bá Nigeria ṣe, ta ló benefit? Nobody, because kò benefit èmi. And I'm sure we could benefit many people as well. Nigeria must now allow indigenous people to live and live before it is too late. If not, wàhálà tó máa wá sí Nigeria ó máa ju ti Yugoslavia lọ.
Both sides. Second, a new renewed focus on improving transparency, accountability in this country, how to fight corruption.
You cannot fight corruption, Mr. Ambassador, and you know that better than me. How do you fight corruption when everybody is a stakeholder in this criminal country you call Nigeria? You think you can deceive us? You have been telling us that they are fighting corruption in Nigeria, yet many money end up in American banks. The one that we know lately was Alison Madueke designing how money that was meant for people within Nigeria end up right inside America. Deizani, as we know right now, Alison Madueke has been charged in the United Kingdom. She has been charged for corruption by the National Crime Agency in the UK. A case will be heard this year, and I will be in the court, God willing, to witness that case, subject to how our rally goes as well, because I cannot be in two places simultaneously. We pray that our rally will bring out our final result, and we pray it will be done swiftly, neatly, and our demands will be met. If not, we will remain outside until our demands are met. But we will continue to update you about how Alison Madueke, another criminal within Nigeria, Deizani Alison Madueke, according to the BBC, in an alleged stolen fund to Nigeria, close to $53 million, almost 43 million pounds, in an alleged illicit fund has been recovered from Nigerian former oil minister Alison Madueke Deizani, a criminal, as we know within Nigeria, but allegation within the UK. But I can call her a criminal because that is what the Nigerian government is calling her. She's wanted in Nigeria. She ran out of Nigeria, deceiving us through Daily Momodu that she had a cancer. Alison Madueke is a fraudster, used Nigerian money with her boyfriend Aluko and many criminals within Yoruba, Igbos, and Hausa to steal funds meant for indigenous people out of Nigeria to America. And if this ambassador is telling us about corruption, they better keep their mouth shut, because no corruption can end in Nigeria. The only way we can end corruption is when we have our own independent indigenous people having their own country. Alison Madueke used the public fund services, among others, will be used to fund public services. The country justice minister said the money is being sent back to Nigeria from the United States, whose authority alleged that Alison Madueke enriched herself, just like IBB gave money to many people within Nigeria, gave them oil block, turned them into billionaires, and they are the same people donating money to Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the former military dictator that killed MK Abiola, that killed innocent military officers, that did coup and turned that coup to become enemies against people. Let's go to Dr. Kemi Olunloyo 8 hours ago on Facebook. Today is a very sad day in Nigeria. I come back to the US ambassador. I just want to bring this in quickly as I remember. Today is a sad day in Nigeria. Nigeria has always been a sad day since 1914 fraudulent amalgamation by the British that hated the Yoruba people so much, never gave Awolowo the chance to become the leader within the Nigeria that was put together. One more put about Awolowo the opportunity in John Long. The British rigged the election in 1959. One more in ti Awolowo máa ṣe. The hatred that the British have for us is what we are experiencing in Nigeria today. Kemi Olunloyo went further. Mark down February 20, 2025 for your kids and grandkids. Nigeria will not exist, so we can still remember whatever happened in Nigeria after Tabatifi Nigeria select. Just like we are using the case study of Yugoslavia, last Shedumari, in Jesus' name, Inshallah, Nigeria will use as case study for the next country to break up. The way Yugoslavia tan lo leni, the same way ló máa lo Nigeria náà láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà lórúkọ àwọn tó nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, because we will not back down and we will not give up, and we will do everything to use to prepare our mind for whatever circumstances or scenarios that will play out. 2025 will be a year that we will remember, but we must prepare our mind for whatever circumstances. Tó bá máa bọ́ sórí M1, ẹ jẹ́ kó bọ́ sórí M1. Ẹni tó bá kú á kú, ẹni tó bá máa yè á máa gbádùn ẹ̀ lọ. I told Nigerians, stupid Nigerians, bomb bastard Nigerians, olórí burúkú Nigerians that are thinking that they have a country. Àwọn olóṣì. I am a Nigerian. Yet you have never tasted anything out of Nigeria. Ìyà ló ń jẹ lójoojúmọ́. Common hospital you cannot go. Common healthcare you cannot find yourself in. Beggy on social media. Beggy on social media. Abi, is that not what we have turned ourselves into? Including myself, beggy. But not all of us, because some of us understand that Nigeria was a failure. That's why we ran out of Nigeria in 1998 when I left that shithole country. 1998 is about almost 25 years ago. I left that your corrupt Olori Buruku country that will never work. Some bastards all over the place. Let's take it back again. Today is a very sad day in Nigeria. This is put together by Kemi Olunloyo, doctor, well-respected Yoruba woman that many of you are calling mad woman. Ní ṣoríire, especially ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo yẹn, ní ṣoríire. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo people that continue to abuse Kemi Olunloyo, ní ṣoríire. It don't go better for you now. Ní ṣoríire. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá bú Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, ní ṣoríire. Especially the Igbo people that continue to call her mad people because she put out the video on the spot. Bomb bastard. How many of you can have 2 PhD? Bomb bastard, olórí burúkú ẹ̀yàn máa lè. Do you know what it means to have 2 PhD? You think Kemi Olunloyo is like a corrupt 419 politicians that cannot even have school sat. Even Adeleke does not have school sat. Ẹni ṣoríire. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá bú Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, ogun máa pa gbogbo yín ni, especially ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo yẹn. Continue to abuse her and say she's a mad woman. Your mother is a mad woman. Your papa is a mad woman. Bomb bastard, ẹni kúre. Especially the Igbo people, for continued intimidation on this Yoruba woman that is a precious to many of us, including myself, because she's a mentor. Ẹni ṣoríire ni mo sọ fún gbogbo yín. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ń bú Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, ní ṣoríire, ogun máa pa gbogbo yín ni. Bomb bastard. Wọ́n ní gbọ́ sí lẹ́nu gbàtẹ́ pé lórí burúkú wọn Davido ló ń tẹ̀lé. Tí Davido bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bú ìyá yẹn, òun náà dẹ̀ máa jìyà ẹ̀ láyé, ìyẹn Davido. Pé kò ní jìyà yẹn irọ́ ló pa. Wọ́n fi kú yànyàn ni. Kékeré ló ṣì rí pẹ̀lú ọmọ ẹ̀ tó kú. Kó má lọ apologize to Dr. Kemi Olunloyo. Ká máa padà wá báwo náà. Èèyàn máa lè. Common university púpọ̀ ní yóò lè kọ́. Common sentence lè kọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà. Common sentence. Compare yourself to somebody that have 2 PhD. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it means to have 2 PhD? Idiot all over the place. The best journalist we can ever think of in that contraction called Nigeria. Today is a very sad day in Nigeria. History marked down February 20th, 2025 for your kids and grandkids. I told Nigerians in 2015 and 2020 what Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida called IBB, the criminal that killed MK Abiola, said today. General David Mark, Olori Buruku David Mark, Olori Buruku David Mark, you know go better for you, David Mark. Oh, ní ṣoríire, àwọn ọmọ ṣì máa kú mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́ ni. Gbogbo tó bá ní ò ní jèrè ẹ̀. Gbogbo tó bá ní pátápátá ò ní jèrè ẹ̀. Ìwọ tó ń pè ní David Mark, ò ní jèrè ẹ̀ láyé, ò ní jèrè ẹ̀ lọ́run. General David Mark threatened MK Abiola unless IBB annul the election in his exact words. If you don't cancel that Abiola win, ìyẹn David Mark ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, we will kill him ourselves. Wọ́n padà pa náà ni. Where's MKO today? He was killed by those he trusted, those he put his life to think that they are better, they will look after him. Even some of our kings wọ́n gbọ̀wọ́ lórí MKO Abiola. Mo kí bàbá wa Awùjalẹ̀, a man that stood firm and says, if you don't give us MKO Abiola, we will not allow Nigeria to have peace. This day, Chief Edwin Clark and Chief Ayo Adebanjo both died almost same time last week, if not this week. Should be alive. They both passed away earlier this week. When I tweeted these, David Mark late son, that's what they do. Wọ́n máa ń fọmọ wọn dájọ́ ni, àwọn olórí burúkú politician. Wọ́n máa ń fi àwọn ọmọ wọn dájọ́ ni, àwọn olè. Ìkan náà àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ti kú, ó ti fi dájọ́. The late David Mark's son, Tunde, continued to threaten Dr. Kemi Odunleye on Facebook. Ìmọ̀ òun náà wà lẹ́nu nísìn, ó ti kú dànù, ó ti lọ́ntì ẹ̀. One bastard. But I did not back down. You never back down for the truth because òtítọ́ ló máa lékè. Òtítọ́ ló dẹ̀ máa lékè lọ́rọ̀ tá gbé dání. Because the truth will break Nigeria. And the only truth is, we continue to tell you the gospel truth. Not the one Baba Adeboye is telling you, or Yadura, or all these pastors and imams and Babalawo. The only truth is the campaign for self-determination. That is where the truth is right now. Apart from very loyal pastors that understand that Nigeria is bedeviled. Pastor like Mayowa, pastor like Prophet Ayo, Prophet Adebayo, David King Leo. Those are true prophets that knows that Nigeria is full of blood. The flag is already full of blood, according to prophets and many others that have spoken. But if you're waiting for Baba Adeboye to come and tell you that Nigeria will break up, you will wait forever. David Mark helped steal a mandate. The mandate of MK Abiola, David Mark wà lára àwọn tó jí. David Mark is still alive today while MK Abiola is dead. The then went on to become a Benue senator, sacrificed because of the senator. David Mark also ended up become the Senate president, earning 1.5 billion allocation allowances. That was what David Mark was making, 1.5 billion naira. Ibrahim Babangida and David Mark and others killed late MK Abiola, a Yoruba man. There will never be peace in Nigeria. There will never be unity in Nigeria. The end of Nigeria is getting closer, and we will continue to tell the international community that. They killed MK Abiola's dream. Abiola never became a president. He died in the prison after drinking a tea. Another reason I will never practice journalism in Nigeria, no believability and constant branding a mad woman. They constantly brand her a mad woman, especially the Igbos and Wolushi, and not the Biafra. And if you're a Biafra that abused Dr. Kemelona, you know go better for you as well. Oh, Nishoriri. Bomb bastard all over the place. May God forgive you all. God will never forgive you until you all apologize to this woman. You will never find a journalist like Dr. Kemelona in that contraction, because they are all puppets to the politicians with brown envelope. Every single one of them do not have the balls to speak. That's why Dr. Kemelona has also left that shit old country called Nigeria. When we have Yoruba country, she must return back and be given a position by the new government of Yoruba people as quickly as possible. Níjọ́ tá bá ti gba country wa, we must bring back many brains like Dr. Kemelona to become the next government representative. For those of you bastards, who will be the next? Who will be your representative? Dr. Kemelona can be one representative because she has what it takes upstairs. Not some of your criminal governors that cannot protect you from Fulani that are killing you within your state called Yoruba land, your Mali. Today, I watch all Ibrahim Babangida proteges. Do you know what they call proteges? Hey, Limon. How do you know all these? Because they don't want you to know. Proteges, these are the ones Babangida turned to billionaires, millionaires, in dollars, in naira, in pound sterling. So when we use the word protege, spell Papa, Romeo, Oscar, Tango, spell Papa, Romeo, Papa, Romeo, S, Oscar, Tango, Echo, Golf, Echo. Pronounced as
protégé.
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 Bear with me, not too sure why this is coming. I know why, because I'm not in the United Kingdom, and that's the reason why. Protégé is not in French. I don't want it French. I don't need any French. No, but French, not in English.
Protégé.
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 A person, those that Babangida, Lowo, Songon, they are lucky jazz. Name many of them, you will find them all contributed to the 17 billion money that was raised for a man that is dying slowly. He will not die straight away. Only wheelchair, but we don't expect him to die now. He will die slowly. Yoruba country must come out quickly so that Babangida and the rest of them will know that we are not joking. And we don't have the time. And whatever it takes, let's prepare for it.
Protégé.
A person who is guided and supported by an older and more experienced or influential person. We heard Tinubu saying, without Babangida, it will not be who he is today as well. All criminals. Kemelona, your doctor, says, and I quote, I watch Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the killer of Delegiwa and the killer of many military personnel in Nigeria and the killer of the late MK Abiola with David Mark and others. Some who got oil block like Otto Eze, they will praise him. Wọ́n máa ládìí ẹ̀ náà nígbà tó yẹ pé àwọn ni Babangida kówó fún tó sọdọ̀ lówó. So what do you expect people like Otto Eze praising him that Ibrahim Babangida made him? Òun ló sọ òun di tóun dì lẹ́nu. Use our own resources to become who they are today. And you are there thinking that Nigeria will be a better place. Oh man, bomb bastards all over the place. I did not see Deji Adeleke, Okwabe, another oil block beneficiary. Do you know the meaning of giving oil block to somebody? A resources that is meant to be used by every indigenous people within Nigeria, and they gave it to Alakija, gave it to Deji Adeleke, gave it to Otto Eze, Babangida pín fún gbogbo wọn. And that's why they have kept their mouth shut, knowing that Babangida killed Abiola with David Mark. And Yoruba people went to bed since Thursday when they had that book launch. So a Katima protest, but nobody wants to come out. Because the new government will not bribe Gogoyin wọ́n ti fowó dìbò, wọ́n ti fowó ba àlámọ̀rí ayé wa jẹ́. Wọ́n ti fi owó ba àlámọ̀rí ayé wa jẹ́, kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ jáde. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń pa àwọn èèyàn fún Yorùbá nation tó máa bèrè pé èlò la máa fún àwọn wrong bastard. Ẹ bá wọn ìkẹ́ jáde, ó má wọn ìkẹ́ má jáde. Bó bá wọn ìkẹ́ jáde, bó bá wọn ìkẹ́ má jáde. Ìyà ò jẹ àwọn ọmọ olóyè Ìgbòho. Fúlàní ò dẹ̀ lè mú olóyè. Wọ́n tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ. Gbogbo ẹnu mo fi sọ, wọ́n tó bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n tó bẹ́ẹ̀. 1 million Fúlàní ò lè dá dúró. Ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Ọbásanjọ́ ìtọ́jú ẹ̀rí ní 2007. The same Obasanjo that Awujale says wanted to destroy Adenuga, because they are all the same. Gbogbo wọn náà mọ́ra wọn. Olè ló mọ ẹsẹ̀ olè tọ̀. Because Babangida mọ̀ pé olè nìyẹn náà. Ó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé àwọn kan ló fọ́ndẹ̀. Even though mo sọ fún wa pé ibìkan lòun ti lọ yá owó tóun fi ṣe glow. Ta lè fẹ́ máa fún ta lọ dẹ̀. Ẹ rò pé gbogbo wa lórí wọ̀ pé. Ta ló mọ̀ pé owó Nàìjíríà ni gbogbo yín fi dìde. Ẹ̀yin olóṣò olè olórí burúkú. Ẹ̀yin olè. Gbogbo yín pátá lẹ fowó Nàìjíríà dìde. Alákìjà dé ó di pásítọ̀ ọ̀sán kan nígbà tó gbé oil block fún tán tó dolówó. Ó wá ń campaign káwá lọ 7. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ṣoríire gbogbo yín bẹ̀ ṣe ní káwá lọ 7 yẹn. Ẹ̀yin kówó dání, ẹ̀dọ́lówó, ẹ̀ ń gbádùn, ẹ̀ wà ní air condition, ẹ̀ ní security, ẹ̀ lómi, ẹ̀ níná, ẹ̀ lè lọ sí ìlú òyìnbó. Ẹ̀ wá ní káwá kan wá lọ tá bá dé heaven, a lọ pàdé Ọlọ́run. Àfi pàdé Ọlọ́run nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọlọ́run dúró ná ká tó lọ pàdé. A fẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. A fẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run tó ní omi nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. A fẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó níná, tó lómi, tó ní welfare, tó ní education, tó ní security. Ibẹ̀ láti fẹ́ rí Ọlọ́run. Àfi lọ 7 láti lọ rí Ọlọ́run. Ẹni ṣoríire gbogbo ìwòlíì, gbogbo pastor tẹ̀sán fún wa pé ká wá lọ. Ẹni kúure gbogbo ìtẹ̀bá ní ká lọ rí Ọlọ́run. If you die, you go to heaven. No, àfi kú nísìn. Àfi gbádùn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ká tó kú. Àfi rí Ọlọ́run nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Bomb bastard all over the place. Ẹ̀yin ìkà, ẹ̀yin jẹgúrú jẹrá. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin wòlíì gidi àtẹ̀yin àfáà gidi. Ẹ wọnú ilé Àlùwà lọ́kẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fún aládùúrà bá ṣe máa jáde. Kí wòlíì kankan máa rìnrìn òfò kankan sí wa pé káfẹ́ ẹ máa ti jáde, ẹ ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀. Ogun máa pa gbogbo yín ni. Ogun lẹ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ pa yín ni. Ẹ bá ní ká máa ti jáde, ẹ ní ṣoríire. One bastard all over the place. Today, oil block beneficiary, they all started their energy company with Nigerian taxpayers' oil. That is why Saudi Arabia is far better than us, because Saudi Arabia refused to give anybody oil block. Do you know what it means to give people oil block? Give people oil block that the country is meant to control. Wọ́n gbé fún àwọn individual gbé fún Shell àwọn olórí burúkú, wọ́n gbé fún different energy companies around the world and destroy everywhere. Reason why they killed Ken Saro-Wiwa in 1995 by another criminal Fulani man tó pè rẹ̀ ní Abuja. Tó ibi tó bá kú sí ó máa kú síbẹ̀ náà ni kò ní spirit ò ní káàkiri kankan mọ́. Àwọn olóṣì olórí burúkú, àwọn olè. Wọ́n múlẹ̀ Yorùbá, wọ́n turn upside down. Wọ́n mú ibi tó epo wà nílẹ̀ àwọn tó nípo, wọ́n turn upside down. Àwọn tó fi lọ́pọ̀ ẹja ò lè rí ẹja pa, wọ́n destroy. Pollution all over the place. Environmental damage all over the place. Shell refused to pay the price for clean up today. They all started their energy companies with Nigerian taxpayers' oil. Otto Eze donated 500 million. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ donate 500 million. Ẹni tó ti jí owó. Do you know what it means to have oil block? 500 million is like just having 1 pence. To the presidential library. Wọ́n fi build the presidential library for lórí burúkú Babangida. Babangida tó kó gbogbo owó jẹ tó lọ kọ́lé sí Minna sí Top Hill. Wọ́n tún fi build the presidential library fún lórí is 17 billion. Dangote náà máa fún ní 8 billion. Abdulsamad Rabiu ìyẹn náà máa fún ní 5 billion. Alákìjà kò yàn fẹ́ ká mọ ètò máa fún àbí ìyá ẹ̀rẹ́ ká mọ ẹ̀ sọ ìtẹ́yìn fún ẹ̀fẹ́ fún ní kí ló tẹ́yìn sọ síta ìbẹ́yìn náà jẹ́ náà ìgbẹ̀yìn olórí burúkú olè. Today Babangida confessed according to the dumb mainstream media, olórí burúkú mainstream media. You think that they will tell you the truth about the corrupt country called Nigeria. who could have reported this years ago, but in fear of the owners, even Showore vindicated me as well today. May Uncle Isiaka, our family friend, aka Sheruba Wadeleke, rest in peace. In this picture I took with my dad when he visited him in 2016 in Osogbo, he gave IBB sleepless night on Abiola's election. Bí àyìn lọ ṣe pa Sheruba wọn, who knows? Let's leave that and move to the next one swiftly because of my time constraint this morning. Let's go back and hear more from this American ambassador, Katugbe Ilosi, the visitation by the British to Ooni of Ife. Kí ló lọ bá Brit, kí ló lọ bá Ooni sọ? Kí ni British Britain wá káàkiri tó ń káàkiri bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣọlé wò lè mọ̀? Wọ́n tún ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Wọ́n ti lọ bá Ooni of Ife.
Here. Thank you. Useful and productive meeting with the governors here at the Governors Forum. I outlined my vision for where the U.S.-Nigerian relationship is headed after my first 6 months here and under a new administration. I explained to them we're going to be focusing on 4 key priorities over the coming years. The first is how to improve the business environment so there's more trade between the United States and Nigeria, more investment on both sides. Second, a new renewed focus on improving transparency, accountability in this country, how to fight corruption, empower Nigerian voices that are fighting for more transparency here. Third, we want to be more engaged at the subnational level, at the state level, and with the local governing authorities. That's, I think, an area where the embassy needs to do a bit more engagement as we develop our programs and our assistance. And lastly, we talked about our healthcare programs, because our healthcare programs are a large part of U.S. assistance to Nigeria, and as those programs are succeeding, as less people have HIV, as polio vaccinations have helped eradicate polio, we want to start transitioning those programs, keep them sustainable, and turn them over to the Nigerian government at the federal level, at the state level. So how do we keep our health programs sustainable and transfer it over to the Nigerian government so they can run them and make them more effective in a new healthcare future? So that's what we talked about, that vision. And with that, I'm happy to take some questions.
Let's take the first question from AIT.
AIT.
Now, can you throw more light on the collaboration with subnational level?
Certainly. What we'd like to see is, I think, more direct engagement at the state level, our programs more focused on the states. We'd like to help develop capacity of the states and the local governing authorities. I think this is partly driven by the Supreme Court decision last summer that is going to give, I think, the LGAs, if this unfolds the way we think it will, perhaps some more authority, more fiscal responsibility. So we want to help the LGAs transition, take on this new responsibility and make sure they can work well with the states. Based on our experience in the United States, where we have a federal system too, and where one of our governing principles is the most effective government is the government.
If you believe all this nonsense coming from them, you will wait forever. Let's take you quickly, because of our time, at the early hours of this morning, to the visit again by the white people to Ooni of Ife. And what is funny about this visit is some of what I read coming out from the deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Johnny Baxter. Àwọn òyìnbó yìí máa ń rò pé àwọn tẹ̀ ní àwọn ní agbárí láti lè tún fi confuse the brain wa. They've confused us since 1914. They can no longer confuse us. We are more smarter now than before. So if you are still open about our quick program, about our Gbowole share button, it's not easy to wake up at the early hours and come out and talk. Please share the program and also invite others to do so. I want to give us the images of the visit. the British made a visit to Ooni of Ife. Kí ni wọ́n sọ? That is our Kábíyèsí with the British representative, as you can see in that images that I've just shown you right there. That is the Deputy British Ambassador to Nigeria. Kí ni wọ́n lọ bá Ọọ̀ni sọ? Òun la fi sáré gbé ẹnu lé lórí. The British envoy visits Ooni of Ife and praises Yoruba culture. Really? How can you praise a culture inside Nigeria that Nigeria does not respect our tradition? You can see how they want to push Sharia on our lives. You can see how they're telling us that they say Oshogbo. You can see how Devil of Sokoto is planning to invade Yoruba land with Sharia. So kini this British envoy telling us about the praises of Yoruba culture. Yoruba culture lè jáde tá bá ṣe wà ní Nigeria àti tá bá ń parọ́ fúnra wa. The earlier we understand that the reason why our culture is not valued is because we are inside Nigeria. The day tá bá ti exit Nigeria, there will be respect for our culture and there will be respect for those that believe in other things that is not our culture. Because not everybody believes in our culture. I am Omo Yoruba and I love my culture. But we have been told by the white people that our culture is not something that we should love and respect. Tẹ́bá sọ fún yàn nísìn pé mo fẹ́ dọ́dọ̀ babaláwo nísìn. Ṣé ló máa wẹ̀ pé kí ló fẹ́ lọ ṣe lọ́dọ̀ babaláwo? Is that not what they've destroyed? The same British that is talking about our culture. Ṣé o lè sọ fún yàn nísìn? Ṣé wọ́n lè sọ fún yàn pé o máa dọ́dọ̀ babaláwo? Pé mo fẹ́ sáré dọ́dọ̀ babaláwo kábọ̀. But it is very cool to say mo fẹ́ dọ́dọ̀ pastor mi, and nothing is wrong with that. Mo fẹ́ sáré dọ́dọ̀ àfáà mi. Kò sí kankan tó ṣe yẹn. Let's go further. The Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Johnny Baxter, paid a courtesy visit to the Ooni of Ife, Ọba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, at his palace at Ile-Ife. Àtẹ̀dúpẹ́ tó ń ṣe pé Ọọ̀ni ló lọ bá wọn. Àtẹ̀dúpẹ́ pé òun ló lọ sí palace tí kò ṣe pé wọ́n ní kí Ọọ̀ni má bọ̀. Because I remember when Prince Charles, kó tó di pé ìyá ẹ̀ kú tó gboyè, came to Nigeria. How many of you remember that? They told Ooni to fly from his base in Ile-Ife to come and meet Prince Charles. Whoa, they saw from Prince Charles to come up on Ile-Ife. Oh my God. How many of you remember that? Wọ́n ní kí Ooni wọ plane kó wá bá Prince Charles ní Abuja. Ooni ò lè sọ fún Prince Charles pé kó máa bọ̀ l'Abuja, kó máa bọ̀ ní Ile-Ife, kó wá yọjú sóhun. Ta ni Prince Charles as at that time kó tó di ọba ni mo ń sọ yìí o. Even as bó ṣe jẹ́ ọba gan sẹ̀. The visit was disclosed through images, which is what I've shown you, and there are other images as well. There are two more other images. Let's see if we can pull them out as quickly as possible. Once again, you're listening to Koiki Media Awareness Campaign. Bó ṣe máa káàkiri nìyẹn bí ẹṣọ oníwòlé mọ̀. Do you know that he also visited the Scare Grove? Mo tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń rélé nísìnyí. The same man, Johnny Baxter, visited Osun scared grove tá à ń pè ní Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo, and it was incredible. Ẹgbọ́n kan tó pè a must-see culture treasury in Òṣogbo. If you are in the area, make sure to stop by and experience the tourist attraction for yourself. Ìyẹn British High Commissioner olùṣẹ́ sọ fáwọn pé ká visit Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo, tóun ló máa sọ fáwọn pé ká lọ sí Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo. Má ṣe ìyá ti jẹran wa, ìyá ó ti jẹran wa. That's in there. I'm just saying this one. Àwọn ló destroy culture wa. Britain ló destroy culture ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ló gbé Nàìjíríà lé wa lórí. What is their move again? Because tó bá ti move by, there is something going underneath. Ṣé wọ́n ń gbọ́ kankan ni àbí lẹ́tà tá a ṣe mú lọ fún wọn lọ́n react sí? Tó lọ sọ fún wọn ni pé kó wọ́n ní Bàbá Akíntóyè tó fẹ́ break Nigeria. I am a journalist. I can take you to any level and any length and remind you that I should be lẹ́tà lọ sọ́dọ̀ ọba, because that letter, like I told you earlier last year, lẹ́tà yẹn ti wà lọ́wọ́ King Charles. Is it the British government that is telling their representative in Nigeria pé kó lọ sọ fún Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ kó wọ́n ní Bàbá Akíntóyè àti Ìgbòho, kó wọ́n ní wọn dáadáa pé kò sí kankan tó ń pè ní break up of Nigeria o, because kò kọ́ bí àwọn ní. Ó wá ń sọ fáwa nípa Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo. Ṣé eléyìí ló yẹ kó máa sọ̀rọ̀ Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo fáwa? Do you understand? Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ìjókòó, ẹ má bínú pé mo lè tí dárúkọ yín. Ṣé òun ló yẹ kó máa sọ ọ̀rọ̀ Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo fáwa ọmọ Yorùbá? Àbáwá ní ó yẹ ká pìtàn Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo fún Britain? Ẹ wo bó ṣe báyé wa tó sọ somersault. Only a great story in Osun State. British technology at work at the Nigerian machine tools. This allowed the Nigerian company to produce items at a high enough quality to meet local demand and then export, earning valuable foreign exchange for Nigeria. Win-win. Kerry Britain ti ń gbé wọn mọ́ra ní Osun State. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ yìí lánàá, but time was not there and I was moving from one area to the other. Ṣé rí ọmọ Yorùbá tá a bá tètè dìde ní kíákíá. What I slept over it yesterday and I'm trying to figure out what is the move again. Is this based on letter tí Bàbá Akíntóyè? Ṣé wọ́n lọ sọ fún Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ kó pe Bàbá Akíntóyè kó wọ́n ní Bàbá Akíntóyè lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation tó gbé dání? Because wọ́n mọ̀ pé bàbá yẹn mean business. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé Bàbá Akíntóyè mean business, pé kò ṣeré. Wọ́n rí pé wọ́n lè compromise Bàbá Akíntóyè, wọ́n ṣe compromise gbogbo àwọn àgbàlagbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó fún lówó tó. Ẹlòmíì Britain, do you know that Britain normally call them and say visa mélòó lọ need? Gbogbo àwọn bàbá òfò tẹ́ ń rí yẹn, àwọn bàbá olè, àwọn ìyá òfò. Wọ́n máa ń bi wọ́n pé tó bá need visa fáwọn ọmọ wọn tó fẹ́ lọ sí abroad, kó jẹ́ káwọn mọ̀ special visa, special, èmi wọ́n fún wọn ní scholarship. Kí ni Deputy High Commissioner Britain tó ń wá káàkiri at this crucial time tán a fẹ́ exit in Nigeria again, tàbí a fẹ́ gbé rally jáde? Ṣé wọ́n lọ sọ fún Ọọ̀ni pé kó pè wá pé ká bá jáde fún rally ni? I don't know, but I'm waiting to hear more behind the scene, and if I hear anything and it's something I can come and share with us, I will. Màá pe bàbá lọ́la, àbí tílẹ̀ bá mọ́ lẹ́nìí, màá pe Bàbá Akíntóyè pé ṣé wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n tún ti dọ́dọ̀ Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀. Ṣé rántí pé this is how Kùkùté, olórí burúkú, ta ló rántí Kùkùté? I don't want to mention her name, but you know who I'm talking about. Èyí tó wà níbẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀, ó ti wà ní Sudan nísìn. Ṣé rántí pé bó ṣe káàkiri nìyẹn tó lọ sọ́dọ̀ Aláàfin, tó ń lọ káàkiri, short woman devil, bí àṣà El-Rufai, short man devil, tó ń lọ káàkiri. Ṣé wọ́n tún ti gbélé náà jáde pé kó lọ sọ fún Ọọ̀ni o, kí Ọọ̀ni pé Ìgbòho, kó dẹ̀ pé Bàbá Akíntóyè, kó sọ fún gbogbo àwọn tó ń ṣe Yorùbá nation pé Nàìjíríà gbọ́dọ̀ pín nísìnyí o. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá, wò tá a bá gbára wa sílẹ̀, ṣége bá ń sá níyà tó máa jẹ gbogbo wa, including myself. If you think that ọ̀rọ̀ ta kọ̀rọ̀ rán sọ yìí Britain ṣe ń sọ fún àwa nípa culture Yorùbá culture, ẹ jẹ́ kí kọ́kọ́ ka ibi tí mo fẹ́ mú jáde tán ká tó tún wọnú ilé lọ. The visit was disclosed àti rí visit yẹn, and these are other images. Ìyẹn mo fẹ́ fún wọn wá tẹ́lẹ̀. Now, according to wife mi, èmi ò dáwọn ìyàwó kábíyèsí mọ̀. Ìyàwó mi ló sọ fún mi pé àwọn ìyàwó ọba méjèèjì tí wọ́n ń gbé ní Britain, so ṣẹ́ríkà jọ kan ṣe nígbà tí òyìnbó ń bọ̀ wọ́n lọ kọ́ àwọn olórí méjì tó wá láti England tó ń fẹ́ bàbá wa kábíyèsí nísìn, ọba ní right láti fẹ́ as many, ìyẹn ṣe problem ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn. Wọ́n wá present àwọn yẹn síwájú. What an amazing time to be alive, to be witnessing all this happening in our time. Now, òun àdírẹ́sì kábíyèsí níbí báyìí. Kí ni wọ́n sọ nínú inner caucus tó ń ṣe ìtọ́gbé jáde nínú ìròyìn pé ó lọ síbẹ̀? Kí la mọ̀ tó ń discuss? Irú lẹ́tà wo la mọ̀ tó gbé lọ fún kábíyèsí? Pé kọ́ wọ́n ní bàbá Akíntóyè dáadáa o. Pé kọ́ sọ fún bàbá Akíntóyè pé Nàìjíríà ò lè pín nísìnyí o. Kí bàbá lọ ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀. Bàbá 90 years old kó lọ ṣe sùúrù títí lọ́dún wo? Tí Tinubu máa fi ṣe tán àbí nígbà wo? Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ further. Baxter, Johnny Baxter, expressed his appreciation for the opportunity to pay homage to the monarch and deepen his understanding of Yoruba culture. Irọ́ ló pa ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Maybe for him personally, but Britain ò lè sọ fún wa pé àwọn mọ̀ nípa Yoruba culture. Wọ́n mọ̀ dáadáa. Wọ́n mọ̀ culture wa dáadáa ni wọ́n ṣe gba culture kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa tó gbé gbẹ̀tùgbẹ̀tù lé gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́, tó gbé fake lé wa lọ́wọ́. Britain ó mọ̀ Yorùbá back, front, forward, backward. Ìdí tó ṣe gbé fún bàbá wo lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn, tó ṣe gbé fún àwọn Fúlàní Gàmbàrí. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. The caption read, "Honored to be hosted by Ooni of Ife, Adeyeye Ogunwusi, the paramount ruler of Yoruba Kingdom." Tí kò ní ṣe. Yes. Ṣé wo ni Ọọ̀ni ní nísìn nínú Nàìjíríà? Àṣẹ tí King Charles bá pa òun náà máa tẹ̀lé ní Britain. Ṣé tí Ọọ̀ni bá pàṣẹ nísìn, ṣé president Nàìjíríà máa follow ẹ̀? Ìbéèrè ni o. Mo ní tí kábíyèsí bá pàṣẹ nínú Nàìjíríà, bí ẹ ti gbàgbé, ẹ jẹ́ gbé yín débẹ̀. Channels Television 1st of March 2024, mo sọ fún yín kó máa pé ọdún kan, ojú nìkan máa ń pẹ́ sí. By next week, a máa sọ pé a fẹ́ mú March, ṣé mo kó máa pé ọdún kan tó pé Security Summit. But let's go with this article. Oba Ogunwusi, Yoruba traditional rulers deliberate on solution to kidnapping, banditry at summit. Summit tó mú kankan jáde. Summit irọ́ tó mú nothing jáde bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ títí di wákàtí. I've been talking about this for how many days now? Pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí summit tá a ṣe kábíyèsí? Summit tẹ pé yẹn tí gbogbo èrò wá, káwọn ọba oríṣiríṣi, àwọn baálẹ̀ orúkálukú wá sọ tiẹ̀, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí? Deputy British High Commissioner ṣe wá ń sọ fáwa pé the paramount ruler of Yoruba Kingdom. So Britain mọ̀ pé kingdom ni wá, yet a wà lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà. ṣe rí gimmick tó ń play pẹ̀lú wa wọ́n ń lo kingdom nígbà tó fẹ́ lọ wọ́jú re kábíyèsí pé kábíyèsí kingdom níyàn bọ̀ ẹ má bínú pé wà lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà o ìtẹ́ bá fẹ́ a máa fún yín o ṣe rí game tó ń play ṣe rí game tí Britain ń play pẹ̀lú mind wa ṣé tí wọn náà bá gbọ́ Yorùbá kingdom nísìn ṣe mọ̀ pé náà máa dùn pé Yorùbá kingdom yet a wà nínú Nàìjíríà kí ló dé káà wá jẹ́ Yorùbá táàbà tẹ̀fẹ́ pé ní Yorùbá nation kí ló dé káà dúró as Yorùbá kingdom United Kingdom ló ń pè tí tibi tẹ́mi gbé United Kingdom tó ní ọba ló ń pàṣẹ fún gbogbo wọn Prime Minister wa Keir Starmer àṣẹ tí ọba bá pa ló gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀lé wọ́n bíbà bẹ́ẹ̀ dákó náà ò ní tẹ̀lé ṣé Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ lè pàṣẹ kí Tinubu tẹ̀lé àṣẹ yẹn Ọọ̀ni ti pàṣẹ kí local government dá lóhùn mo kí kábíyèsí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí o orí adé ṣé Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ lè pàṣẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́nìí kí local government kan dá lóhùn bí Ọọ̀ni bá fẹ́ travel nísìn ó gbọ́dọ̀ sọ fún local government ẹ̀ pé òun travel ẹ̀rí bó ṣe ẹ̀rí bí British ṣe báyé bó ṣe báyé tradition wa jẹ́ ṣe rí Britain bó ṣe báyé tradition wa jẹ́ ṣé tí King Charles bá fẹ́ travel ṣó gbọ́dọ̀ pàṣẹ ó gbọ́dọ̀ gbàṣẹ lọ́wọ́ local government bóun fẹ́ lọ òun fẹ́ sáré travel o òun lọ Africa òun débọ̀ and these are the deceit that many Yoruba people are still ẹlòmíì torí pé kó bá gba visa ó ń ṣe bọ̀ìbọ̀ì fún wọn ẹ̀wù rọ́tọ́ gbé kalẹ̀ mo ní 1st of March ó máa pé ọdún kan tí security summit ṣẹlẹ̀ àgbọ́pá àgbọ́pọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ quiet ṣé mọ̀ how many people tí wọ́n ti pa tó ti jí gbé tó ti san ransom ṣé mọ̀ pé Afẹ́nifẹ́re ìkànnà àwọn youth wọn nísìn wọ́n ti jí gbé l'Abuja wọ́n ní kó lọ mú 100 million wá láti 1st of March títí di bá ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ mọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ti pa tó ti jí gbé ìmí àtẹ̀ ní rẹ́kọ́dẹ̀ nígbàtẹ̀ fún wa because media gbọ́dọ̀ ní enough resources to work with láti máa document gbogbo kìíní. Ọba Ogunwusi appealed to traditional leaders in Nigeria to take full possession of their forest but kábíyèsí Ìgbòho sọ fún yín pé òun máa ṣe lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ ẹ má fún òun lówó òun máa wọnú igbó èmi náà tẹ̀lé as a journalist àwọn tó jẹ́ akọgbọ́n ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ̀lé ànídòwó kábíyèsí ànídòwó gọ́vnà a máa lé fún sọ pé Fúlàní tó ń gbé láàrin wa nínú ìgboro Fúlàní tá bá bá nínú igbó a gbọ́dọ̀ dín pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ Ọọ̀ni ẹ̀ fún aláyé ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ sí kábíyèsí ẹ dákẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ sí mọ́ àmọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́dẹ̀ ni ọba bá lórí gbogbo in tí wọ́n sọ nìyẹn ṣé ọba bá lórí Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ ká má tọ́ra wa náà why are we living in denial à ń gbé fake life gbogbo wa àná ní kábíyèsí wa ò lè pàṣẹ nínú Nàìjíríà káṣẹ yẹn múlẹ̀ kábíyèsí ò lè pàṣẹ yet Britain sọ fún èmi Olayomi Koiki pé àwa ọmọ Yorùbá o a ní kingdom yet kingdom yẹn coexist on paper because officially kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Yorùbá kingdom àfi tẹ́ bá ń parọ́ fúnra yín because Nigeria ni wọ́n recognize ṣé wọ́n mọ Nigeria tó recognize yẹn Islam ni wọ́n recognize níta wọ́n recognize anybody tó ń jẹ́ Yorùbá àbí Igbo Nigeria níta is recognized as an Islamic country mo kí ẹ must be mo kí ẹ̀yà wa tàwà lórí ètò so kí là ń parọ́ fúnra wa fún wọ́n ní United Kingdom England ilẹ̀ Scotland ilẹ̀ níbo ni ilẹ̀ tí wá wà ó wà lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà who is fooling who that I still don't understand the purpose of this visit ṣé Britain ti padà ó review lẹ́tà yẹn ó ti kàdélẹ̀ wọ́n ti ní understanding tí bàbá Akíntóyè kọ síbẹ̀ láti October 12 ní aago 2 ta deliver letter wọ́n ti wá gbọ́ pé ó dà ń pa àwọn Yorùbá yìí àwọn náà máa gbọ́ fìrífìrí kó má lọ tún bá wọn lójijì bóyá wọ́n ti sọ fún ọ ní kó pe Ìgbòho àti bàbá Akíntóyè, because I still don't understand what this visit is all about. The purpose of the visit by the British representative to Kábíyèsí. Only I am grateful for the warm reception our Yorùbá land hospitality. Ìyẹn làwọn Ìgbò ṣe ń ṣe yamayama nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, because a ti fún wọn ní hospitality tó pọ̀ jù. A fún wọn hospitality lọ fún wa ní fake drug, lọ fún wa ní fake product. Torí a ti fún wọn ní hospitality tó pọ̀ ní. Àwa wí tán wọn náà complain ní Ìdúmọ̀tà pé wọ́n ti shop àwọn. What about the shop yìí now? Your shop needs to be closed because we don't know what you are selling to our people. Fake drug, lẹ́ńtà fáwọn èèyàn wa, you are killing Yoruba people in Yoruba land. And you expect Governor Sanwo-Olu, we might not agree with Sanwo-Olu on everything, but we expect him to look after the Yoruba people within Lagos State. You cannot be selling fake product and tell Sanwo-Olu to open Idumota so that they can product you. All this your fake product that you are bringing from Aba. Bomb bastard. Hospitality yẹn ló fi pa wá nísìn tí Fúlàní wọlé lójoojúmọ́. Every blessed day there's nothing less than 3 trucks ló ń wọlé. We are taking, because I am uploading the picture but Yoruba people are sleeping. Kí lẹ tún fẹ́ kí èmi tún ṣe jù yẹn lọ? Àwọn ọmọ ta fi sí border bó ṣe ń wọlé lọ send the picture yẹn sí mi. Àwọn upload ẹ̀. A ní governor wọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Gbogbo wọn dákẹ́. General Togo ó jáde ó ní Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn kò sí nǹkan tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ lọ Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn. If anybody tells you Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn is working to tell them irọ́ ló wà ńbẹ̀. If anybody tells you Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn, we have about 32 minutes if not a little bit less to end this broadcast. Tẹ́nì kankan bá sọ fún yín pé Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ṣiṣẹ́, irọ́ is all balanced lie according to former Brigadier General Togo. Let's move swiftly. Now, the purpose of the visit is to discuss the important role of traditional rulers. Britain sọ fún Ọọ̀ni pé òun wá bá Ọọ̀ni sọ̀rọ̀ láti lè jẹ́ kí Ọọ̀ni mọ̀ nípa the important role of traditional rulers. The same traditional rulers tí wọ́n bá dáadáa before the amalgamation. The traditional rulers that knows the respect for humanity, respect for human, obìnrin, ọkùnrin, before kó tó kó gbogbo wa papọ̀ tán pè ní Nàìjíríà. Òun ni Britain tún wá remind Kábíyèsí pé òun wá bá Kábíyèsí discuss the role of tradition. What is the role of traditional ruler in Nigeria today, in Yoruba land? Gbogbo wọn pátá wọn ní role kankan mọ́. Ọọ̀ni ò lè pàṣẹ káṣẹ yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ nínú Nigeria. And the example of that is the security summit that Ọọ̀ni called. As we speak today, no outcome from that summit. So when we are told that they have also come to learn about the culture of Yoruba people, I am confused. Britain is supposed to learn nípa Yoruba culture. The Yoruba culture that was destroyed purposely for their own selfish gain. Who is fooling who? We can only continue to highlight all these because most of you did not know that there was a visit to Osun State. My job is to tell you that it has occurred. The purpose of that visit is far beyond all these rhetorics on Solori tweet one. If you believe this, you believe that for your own stupidity. There is far more behind the scene that I am very sure of. And as I prepare to wind down the program again this morning, I am just a messenger. It's entirely up to you to take the message that Yoruba people need to be free, or we will all suffer the consequence of not being free from Nigeria. Our king cannot speak. Our culture has been taken away from us. Our tradition has been destroyed. And the agenda is real. So it's up to you. And if you ever think that Nigeria will be free from all this bondage, it can never be free. This visit of, and I'm going to use, I'll change my terms and use these so that it can be on record that I have come out on every visit in the last 4 years of Britain to our king and talked about it. Màá yọ èyí tí mo fi sí tẹ́lẹ̀, màá fi tí ọba yìí sí. And I'll also change the headline slightly because I want this to go on record again. Pé Koiki jáde o, ó wá sọ̀rọ̀ pé kí ni Britain wá lọ sí Ọọ̀ni of Ife again, because ambassador is just representing Britain. Ó lọ represent Britain ni, kò lọ represent ààrẹ. It's not a courtesy visit, it's an official visit. There's a difference between courtesy and official, but they are there to confuse us as Britain did since 1914. Láti parọ́ pé Nàìjíríà máa ṣoríire, Nàìjíríà máa dá, kí gbogbo wa ká lọ ṣe sùúrù fún Nàìjíríà. Yet wọ́n mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà òun ló gba ògo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá á ti sùn gan o, àdẹ̀ ń sùn, ẹja àjí lójú oorun o. Àsìkò oorun kọ́ lélẹ̀, èmi náà sùn o, but mo ń sùn with so much pain. Every day I go to bed, I am feeling pain of what is happening in Yoruba land. And it's entirely up to us, this generation, to demand our rights. Kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa gbà wálẹ̀ o, àwa la gbọ́dọ̀ gbàrà wá sílẹ̀ o. Àsìkò kò sí on our side. Let me read quickly how it all went last year tí Ọọ̀ni pé summit yẹn, according to the channel. Ọọ̀ni of Ife, Ọba Adéyẹyè Ògúnwùsì, on Friday, March 1st, hosted the 2024 Yoruba Security Summit. Yoruba Security Summit. Yoruba Security Summit. Àgbọ̀n kankan mọ́, àgbọ̀pá, àgbọ̀pó láti ọdún kan. A dẹ̀ sọ pé àṣẹ wà lẹ́nu ọba. Ṣé tí King Charles tó bá ń jí àwọn èèyàn gbé ní Britain tó bá pàṣẹ wọn ní mú àṣẹ yẹn? Ìbéèrè ni o. Ṣé position King Charles ó ju ti Ọọ̀ni lọ ni? Kò jù lọ. Ọọ̀ni ju King Charles lọ. In terms of their position, Ọọ̀ni kábíyèsí, Ọọ̀ni of Ife, position ni wọ́n ju ti King Charles lọ. Yet King Charles dey control Great Britain, Ọọ̀ni ò lè control ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọọ̀ni ò lè pàṣẹ. Wọ́n ń jí wa gbé, Fúlàní ń pa wá, wọ́n ń dún àwọn àgbàlagbà nínú igbó, wọ́n ń fàdíyà, because bá ṣe lè sọ tó máa yé yín nìyẹn. Wọ́n ń ṣàwọn èèyàn lọ́wọ́, wọ́n ń bá àwọn èèyàn lójú, wọ́n ń pààyàn, wọ́n ń gba ransom. Ọọ̀ni dẹ̀ pé summit, àdẹ̀gbọ́n kankan mọ́ lẹ́yìn summit yẹn, Ọọ̀ni dákẹ́. So ó ti ṣí òpè Ọọ̀ni ò ní agbára kankan nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Wọ́n ò lè pàṣẹ. It's a fact. Àfi tá a bá parọ́ fúnra wa. Àfi tí a bá parọ́ fúnra wa nìkan ló kù. Because we expect Ọọ̀ni to be able to make decision, and that decision. Ṣé Tinubu ló sọ fún Ọọ̀ni pé kó stop? Àbí Sultan of Sokoto tó pè rẹ̀ ní Devil of Sokoto? Àbí Ibrahim Babangida ló sọ fún Ọọ̀ni? Àbí Governor Adeleke ló sọ fún Ọọ̀ni? Àbí ta ló sọ fún Ọọ̀ni pé kí Ọọ̀ni má continue? Because in tó Ọọ̀ni fẹ́ ṣe yẹn, in tó máa dáàbò bo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni. wọ́n jẹ́ kí Ọọ̀ni parí ẹ̀. Èmi mọ̀ pé Ọọ̀ni fẹ́ ṣe, mo mọ̀ yẹn dájú, mo mọ̀ yẹn nínú ọkàn mi, but ta ni ò fẹ́ fún Ọọ̀ni ṣe? I'm working with time, I need to go now. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. The Yoruba Security Summit, where he met with other traditional rulers in the Southwest region and deliberate on the practicable solutions to kidnapping and banditry in the region. Títí di bá ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, kidnapping ṣì ń ṣẹlẹ̀, banditry ṣì ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ó mà ṣe o. Ó mà ṣe o. Èèyàn kan ní, I suggest that Ooni of Ife should call this kind of conference twice a year. Èyí tó pè ní once a year kí la ti rí solution sí. So kákọ̀ máa pe conference, kọ́ dé agbádá, kọ́ dé fìlà, kọ́ ṣòwò rẹ̀, ó yá Yorùbá anthem, iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ fún gbogbo wa. And everybody goes home and that's the end. That has been Nigeria method. Conference. That's what they've done for 64 years. Tolori Buruku Babangida. And before I go, because I don't have time anymore, I have a very limited time. And the last article is testimony, MK Abiola, Susan Wright, The Deadly Cup of Tea by Femi Fani-Kayode. Ambassador Susan Wright is the American ambassador to the United Nations. A long-standing aspiration for becoming the Secretary of State for our country was dashed when the Republicans in the Senate started sharpening their knife in the anticipation of her former nomination for the position of President Barack Obama. Sensing that her nomination would not scale through, the Senate and that she would not be confirmed as the Secretary of State due to the role she played. Due to the role mi pé in tó ṣe nígbà tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi tó fi pa MK Abiola, due to the role she played in the cover-up of also the Benghazi affair, in which American ambassador to Libya, Christopher Stevens, and 3 other American citizens were murdered. Lowo movie yẹn, Benghazi, èmi ti wò many times. American ambassador was killed in Libya, in Benghazi. Instead of Secretary of State, President Obama has now nominated her for the position of National Security Advisor, which is a job that does not require Senate approval or confirmation. I wish Susan Wright well in her new assignment, but I am constrained to ask the following question. Journalists máa ń béèrè question ni. We ask question because we need answer to it. What did she put in the tea that she served to late MK Abiola on July 8, 1998? Kí ni wọ́n fi sínú tea tí Abiola mu? Fani-Kayode ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ Susan Wright. You can see that Atiwade only one chance to pay. She was the one of the last people that saw him alive. She served him the something. He coughed violently, and 1 hour later, Abiola died. He did not survive that tea. Tó bá ní kó mu tea nílùú òyìnbó, ọmọ náà ìgbà míì wàá máa gbá tea yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. Kò tẹ̀ ń ṣe irú àwa nísàn gbọ́dọ̀ mu tea anyhow. O lè serve mi ní any tea àbí any drink ìgbà lọ́wọ́ ẹni sí torí àwọn ọmọ tẹ máa fi sí. Come bastard all over the place. Wọ́n ṣe pa Abiola dànù nìyẹn. Tó ṣe rán Abiola mu tea yẹn báyìí torí pé ó ti mu tea tipẹ́. Ó dẹ̀ wò pé àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ òun lọ Amẹ́ríkà tó dé yìí, just like báwa náà ṣe ń rò pé aláwọn ọ̀rẹ́ kan, they are all enemies within and outside. Ẹ má gbàgbé kẹran iléeṣẹ́ ìlọ́wọ́, èyí tó important nìyẹn. Tẹ́ bá fún wa kò pọ̀ jù, tẹ́ bá ti fún wa tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ tún lè fún wa sí. We need money. A week ló kù tá a máa fi lọ sékìtì. Àìtí mọ̀ báwọn tí mi ṣe fi lọ rally ń bọ̀. There's still so many things that this media needs to operate with. And we know that you will not disappoint us. Gbogbo ìtàn fún wa náà ni mo máa ń dúpẹ́ fún. Every blessed day, no matter how small, support this organization. I am not a blogger. We are an organization that have the team that are ready to serve Yoruba people. Mo sọ fún wọn tó bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ pé tó o bá ní ṣe Yoruba nation, o ní bá mi ṣiṣẹ́. You have the right to leave. Àjọmọdélẹ̀ lérí o, but kò ń ṣe pé tẹnu ọ iṣẹ́ la máa ṣe. Sórí wọ́n tí wọ́n ní kó lọ máa jẹ wédú, tán ní kó lọ máa jàkàrà, tán ní kó lọ ṣe sàárà, tán ní kó rúbọ, tán ní kó ṣògùn, tó lóò ṣògùn. Well, èmi ò ní force anybody kó ṣoògùn, it's entirely up to you. Bọ́lọ́ dira o, torí àmọ́ tó ń bọ̀ nínú Nàìjíríà nígbà tó bá lọ dé kó má dé bẹ́ẹ̀ lójijì. Kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ rálì nìkan tó bá dira dáadáa. Àìmọye àwọn ọmọ wa táwọn Fúlàní tó ń pàdé táwọn náà ń pàṣẹ fún wọn padà, wọ́n dira dáadáa ni. Àìmọye lòmíì tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe jàǹbá fún láàrin city, bọ̀ nítorí kó dira dáadáa. Many atrocities in London, Nigeria. This is not the time to joke. Igbo fẹ́ kidnap yín, Yorùbá gan fẹ́ kidnap yín, but we know that the bulk of the problem are terrorism and many other problems. One chance, ó sì ṣẹlẹ̀ l'Abuja, tó bá dira dáadáa, one chance ò lè pàdé ẹ̀, tó bá dira dáadáa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá. Má jẹ́ kẹ́ni kankan fúnlẹ̀ o, má jẹ́ kí pásítọ̀ kankan sọ fún ẹ pé má lọ dira dáadáa. Àsìkò tí yàn ń dira láwa yìí, àsìkò tọ́mọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ dira láwa yìí, á ti wà nínú ogun o, á ti wà nínú ogun o, mo sọ fún yín, á ti wà nínú ogun, kò dìgbà tí ó bá di gbàsgbòs, á ti wà nínú ogun o, lọ dira o, kí kó má bàa pa ẹ́ o. Mo ní sọ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ má kí n máa dárúkọ because mo ti wà very very short of time now. I gotta go now. There's so much that we'll be discussing if time permits another time. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí o. Mo kí bàbá wa Akíntóyè, kọ́lọ́run ọba Elédùmarè kó bá wa lọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀mí yín, kó fún yín lẹ́mìí gígùn àtàlàáfíà. Olóyè ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà, mo ní mo dúró tiẹ̀ dáadáa. Ìjọ tó bá ti náà lọ Nàìjíríà, àjọ máa dé Nàìjíríà ni. I will not leave you alone to go to Nigeria on your own. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ má pè mí pé gbà ní Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ Nàìjíríà. That is entirely up to him to decide. But ìjọkíjọ tó bá náà ń bọ̀ Nàìjíríà, àjọ máa dé Nàìjíríà ni. Ìtò bá máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní kó ṣẹlẹ̀. Tẹ́yìn ò bá lè tẹ̀lé wa lọ, ẹ máa fàdúrà ràn wá lọ́wọ́. I am not interested in all this prophecy. Ẹ má lọ Nàìjíríà, ẹ má ṣe kíní kan. Ẹnkan lọmọkùnrin máa ṣe kíni ló máa wà láyé. Torí ikú kan ò pa wá nísìn. Bó kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ètò, àná ìjù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Bye for now. We're all walking in as if the student is being called by their principal. Nigeria is no longer working, and it is time that the America, the European allow Nigeria to dissolve before Nigeria goes into chaos. They were all going in one at a time. A white man has called the black people to sit and continue to fool us as they've done, as America continue to fund the Boko Haram. Àwọn gómìnà ló wọlé lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ní méjì láti ilẹ̀ Haúsá, ilẹ̀ Ìgbò, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà tí ambassador Amẹ́ríkà tó pè wọ́n, èyí tó rẹpísẹ́ǹtì wọn Amẹ́ríkà nílùú Nàìjíríà. Arákùnrin tó ń pè ní Richard Mills, the United States ambassador to Nigeria, has also dismissed allegation that U.S. Agency for International Development, something in the USAID, fund Boko Haram or other terrorist organizations. Inú pàdé náà lọ́wọ́ àìtẹ́ ń wò yìí. Àwọn gọ́fúnà wa lọ́rẹ́ ní gúúsùgúúsù nígbà tí ọmọ skul kó lọ sí skul tí principal fi bá sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ wo bí ayé wa ṣe ta sínú Nàìjíríà. Ẹja gbọ́n kan tó fi sọ.
Useful and productive meeting with the governors here at the Governors Forum. I outlined my vision for where the U.S.-Nigerian relationship is headed.
Let me quickly analyze that. The U.S.-Nigeria relationship is no longer going to work. It needs to now dissolve. There can be a Biafra-U.S. relation. There can be Hausa-U.S. relation. There can be Middle Belt U.S. relation, and there can be Yoruba-U.S. relation. But the relationship between Nigeria and the U.S. must now stop because it is no longer working for the indigenous people. America representatives were on seat when MK Abiola died. Condoleezza Rice, as we know, was the U.S. secretary when the late MK Abiola was killed. And we know what happened after that. We know how many things we have heard. The tea, the cup of tea, and this, hate him or like him. And I'm just reminding you Yoruba people that we have enemies within and enemy outside. According to Femi Kayode, on the June 9, 2013. MK Abiola, Susan Rice, and a deadly cup of tea. Now we have known how MK Abiola died. I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's hear more. As the US ambassador is now also denying that there was no evidence